style, I think, is something more clean and classic and nothing super outside of the box, nothing unconventional. You know, lots of white Oxfords, white tees, jeans. I think I went through that stage, as we all did, in my early 20s, where I thought everything I was wearing was super cool, and I guess it was of the time, tons of patterns and all over prints and stuff like that. I believe when you look back on the James Dean and the Paul Newmans, their style still looks great today, and people are trying to recreate it now. So I think that's where I like to think I exist. As long as you're comfortable, I think that's confidence is fashion in that way. Traveling in fashion, well, I think society has generally lost the air of traveling fashionably. Seems as though people are traveling far too comfortably in mass areas and audiences, wearing sloppy sweatpants and having really beat up luggage. And I understand a lot of people don't travel all the time, so you might not want to carry yourself in a certain way, and you just want to be comfortable because you have an 8-hour flight. No one's mad at a blazer when you're traveling if you do it right. You don't have to sit in it the whole time, but you can wear it casually with a hoodie or just a t-shirt and still feel like you're bringing a bit of presence to yourself and traveling, and maybe you'll get you in the first class lounge, who knows, or an upgrade. Those chances are always exist, but it's a lot tougher if you don't look the part. I like to think that airline travel was once a classy thing. I remember seeing photos of my grandfather riding American Airlines, and they're serving filet mignon and everyone was wearing fedoras and three-piece suits. I definitely don't think it should go there again. I don't think that's a super comfortable place to be, but I think there's something to be said about still carrying yourself. It's a big public place. You should carry yourself fashionably and in a respectful manner. My personal philosophy, or my business philosophy, I guess, hand in hand, I treat my business as my personal life probably at this point as well, but you know, all the things your mom taught you or your dad taught you when you were a kid to do kind of stand true, and they're more relevant than ever, because I think people get lost in their electronic world and are on their phone and not really paying attention, or you know, think, oh, I'll email them tomorrow or follow up quickly, but a handshake still goes a long way. Being on time for things, the simple things, giving your proper information out, following up, you know, it speaks a long way, and people really remember eye contact. All that stuff's very important. I think it's really helped me get to where I am. It's the world. I got into the business a little later than most. I was in my mid-20s, mid to late 20s, maybe better said. And I just treated it more as a business than pleasure, because whenever you're making money, essentially it's a business. So how can you grow from there and build a proper business behind it and the foundation to grow into where you want it to be? And moved to New York in 2007, was doing some work in the fashion space for a consulting firm, which I called consulting, but really I was just an office manager for a business that was just starting up with 3 partners. So I needed some extra money, which I didn't know this would turn into, but worked out pretty well. So in the meantime, I didn't have too much of a salary to kind of work off of, so I would eat with a good friend of mine on Monday nights who managed a restaurant, thus giving me a deal / food for free. And I would just bring my computer, and we both enjoyed music a lot, so we kind of play around with the turntables and figure out kind of what we were doing, and try and teach each other how to mix and how to beat match and all those sorts of things that come with DJing. And then one night, Randy Gerber and Cindy Crawford were eating dinner, and they'd mentioned to the owner of the restaurant that I was doing a great job, so he bumped me up to Fridays and Saturdays, which was amazing. And yeah, kind of got my start there. Pop Burger, New York City. So a friend of mine started a business in New York, a consulting business where they launched fashion brands into the US, and we used to ski together in Canada, so he invited me to come meet with them, and they hired me, so I started working with them, and then I started DJing as well, and I was able to kind of cross music and fashion really well by working for some of the brands we were representing, doing playlists and soundtracks for their parties, and then eventually DJing for their events, some of them during Fashion Week. I ended up meeting one of the event producers at Vogue, and they put me on. Luckily, got a chance to play with Vogue and ended up doing events for them for about a year and a half, and that kind of really allowed me to break a bit of a mold and get into the fashion space. Yeah, the way programming music for fashion shows usually works is you meet with the designer first of all, and you get a feel for what their brand is, what their season direction is, the feel for their season, if it's dark or light, if it's fun, because you want to accurately give a soundtrack that embodies their vision. It is a dream for sure. I think it's really nice being able to fly all over the place and see a ton of different cultures and meet a bunch of interesting people as you go around and yeah, play music for everyone. I think it's a definite dream of mine, and I'm really excited to be able to do it.